Welcome to the meditation challenge. I challenge you to stay till the end. That is the biggest challenge, I think, because it is lengthy. There's no quick fix here. That's not a quick process. It is in a way, there's meditators that meditate all day. We're just looking at 5 rounds on a mela, which can come out to be about, I don't know. I didn't time it. I don't time it. That's the whole thing. Maybe don't time it. Just be in your seat. Just be where you are, right here, right now. I wanted to show you what crystals that I brought out today. This is the big one that I was talking about. This is my beautiful amethyst crystal that I brought back from Banff, Alberta, Canada, back in my very early 20s, and I was studying Banff School of Management, studying management at the Banff School of Management. And it was a beautiful geode. It's called a geode, and it's just a piece of rock that's from a volcano that's been diamond cut down the center. And this is what's inside. So it's just the most beautiful form of art that I think that is available to us to enjoy its beauty are these pieces. Yeah, and it's quite heavy. When I first had my child, this was on the floor, and not knowing, my daughter actually knocked it over, and you can see she cracked it. And I'm just so grateful she wasn't injured because it's really heavy. So that was one of my mummy learnings of when I was first a mom. I never dreamt in a million years she'd be able to knock it over, but I'm glad that no one was hurt in the process and I was able to fix the rock. So welcome. So I have that beside me. Oh, I'll tell you the properties of the elements of the amethyst. For meditation, place the amethyst on the crown. No, I don't think so. To improve concentration and confidence in life. Healing, alleviates migraines, improves concentration, helps heal addictive behaviors, calming, assists in insomnia. On the emotional side, it helps heal grief and compulsive behaviors. On the magic side, it attracts justice, protection, helps manifest abundance. And it's because of its violet nature and the frequency of violet, it's said to represent the Sahasrara, the crown chakra. So I do have smaller pieces of amethyst that I have used on the top of my head, because that's what I like to do. All right, so let's do some grounding and then we'll go into the meditation. I'm going to cover off 3 areas. So I'm going to cover off grounding, meditation. We're going to go right into the mala meditation with the mantra. And then we're going to pull a beautiful card that represents sort of where our jumping off point can be for journaling, because I had a really tough time journaling. I had like a roadblock to journaling. But when I found that I would pull a card that would offer me somewhere to really contemplate, to write from. So when I come to my seat initially, I sit down and I write. And then this morning, I'm trying to figure out how this would best suit you and yet still fulfill my practice. So that was my contemplation today of how I can do that. So I love to work in 3s. So I thought, explain my 3 things. My 3 things is grounding and centering and aligning. I can't go to here. You can't go to here if you're not grounded here. You just can't. It's not possible. If you chakras 1 and 7 work together, and 2 and 6 and 3 and 5, and then the fourth chakra is the bridge. So let's experience grounding. Grounding uses all your sensories. And the beautiful thing with meditation is it's been proven that your sensory awareness becomes more sensitive. So you're going to learn to expand into your sensory. And that's super, super juicy, because the sight and the sound and the taste and the tactileness, and how wonderful is that? If we can increase our sensory organs sensitivity, we can become more present in our everyday, and we can get so caught up in the news and our phones and everything else, that if we can even pick up our new phone and have a new phone case on it and actually experience the tactileness of the phone case, we've actually had that brief second of being present, and before expanding out into some outward area as we look and experience the external world. So feel your sit bones wherever you're sitting, the bottom. Your sit bones are your buttocks. And if you're sitting where your feet are flat on the floor, feel your feet on the floor. Really feel them on the floor. Spread out your toes. And just imagine these etheric feet or tree roots. And etheric just means a wave, a line, something that you can't see. And allow that to allow it to pierce the earth's crust. That allows us to get a bit more sensory. And see if you can sense piercing the earth's crust and coming into the rock layer. And then the next layer after the rock and the sand is the molten. That's a liquid, warm liquid. Now see if you can experience that warm liquid as your etheric feet or your tree roots go into that liquid. And imagine this beautiful glowing crystal at the central core of the earth. If you Google it, you'll see pictures. I have some that I show as a representation for my clients. I'll pull that out tomorrow, actually. And allow that, your tree roots or your etheric feet, to wrap around that crystalline core. Now give your body permission to receive that earth energy. It's often seen as a red frequency, just like the chakra, the first chakra. Feel that burst, that red frequency coming up, 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 the same way that it went down, and allow it to come in and fill both your feet and bring it up on your breath. As you breathe down into your body, allow that to come and match where that red earth energy is coming up the legs, and almost suck it up like a straw. Breathe it up into your body, up your legs and into your hips. Now allow the breath to come down to the lower abdomen and meet it at the lower abdomen as you draw it up in through the abdomen, filling every space, every cell, and every space in between each cell. Breathe it up into the chest and the shoulders. Allow the chest to expand with a safe, security, Mother Earth energy. It's so nurturing, offers so much bounty and abundance. Allow it to cascade down your arms to your fingertips. And if you wanted to, if you felt some tension, you could allow any tension that you felt in the body to be bathed and soothed by this Mother Earth energy, and allow it to come out of your fingertips. Direct it into the earth with intention. Direct it back into the earth. And when you're ready to stop, sort of turn the taps off, come back up and continue to draw that Mother Earth energy up into your throat and bathe all this area. This little area does so much in our body. It's known as the gateway between the mind and the body. It also houses the brainstem, which is where the trauma that you've experienced throughout this time and many others is housed. Breathe it into the head. Allow it to cascade all through, over the top of the cranium. You can allow it to come out and cascade down the outside of the body, clearing that first and just touching possibly the second layer of your biofield. What do you notice? What do you notice now? Do your feet feel really connected to the earth? Do you feel more anchored if you're sitting where you're sitting? When I work with trauma, we always create this anchor first, so we have something to come back to. So going through your day like this is where you have this anchoring point that you can remember, the body will remember this anchoring point. We're training. And now center. Just allow yourself to just teeter back and forth a little bit. And allow it just to allow the body to find the still point. And now we're going to take that line that you created down into the center core of the earth. Now that we've centered, we're going to bring that line up through the center line of the body. By centering, we also bring in our energy that's expended or somewhere else. We pull it back in. We're working with our energy, so we need to draw all our energy back in. And I think that's what the body does when we kind of teeter a little bit. In order for it to find its still point, it pulls back in its resources to be able to find that still point. And we're going to take that line and this beautiful still point, and we're going to align that up and out, still anchored into the earth. So it's one vertical line that allows us to go up through the solar system, through the Milky Way, into the cosmos, this fine line to divine creator source energy, higher self, divine consciousness, angels, archangels, gurus, sages, all those that love you unconditionally. We'll open this super highway of connectivity as we align with our higher self, divine consciousness, God, creator source energy. You name it, the place of many names, you choose. And permission to receive. It's often seen as the gold and white light that's just cascading down this superhighway that you have created, that you've locked into with this still point. And receive. Now imagine this beautiful golden white light coming in. Feel it as it illuminates your skull. Feel it, allow it to wash over your eyes and your cheekbones and your face. Allow it to fill the brain area, the skull, down the back of the neck, down into the gateway of the front, bathing everything with divine love, divine consciousness, higher self. Breathe it in, allow it to bathe down your shoulders and your arms to your fingertips. Allow it to fill your heart area, your lungs, purifying, healing, permission to heal. It's really important to give yourself permission and consent. There should be more consent in the world. Let's start with each of us giving ourselves consent to receive this unconditional, beautiful, divine, golden white light, love. Breathe it down into the abdomen and the back, the full back body. Bathe the spine, the hips, the thighs, the knees, the calves, your feet. And allow these two energies to join and see what you notice now. This is the most beautiful way to start your day. I have that itchy nose whenever I go into meditation. At least it's coming early this time. This is a great place to journal from. If you're ever sitting down just to journal, you want to get ready to take your next steps in planning for 2021. It's a great place to do it from. Oh, you're opening the superhighway for information, and great place to ask a question and listen. Let's take this into our meditation now. So what I utilize for meditation is a mala. I had somebody ask how you do the mala. The mala is, from what I have experienced in my learnings, is held in the right hand. And this little fuzzy part represents the guru. So you move forward on one side. You don't ever go all the way around and then go around again. So you start here, and you use your thumb and your middle finger. Your index finger is just left free. It's kind of like you get to that sensory when you know that you're close to the end. So you just simply walk your fingers over the seeds or beads. I have one here that's also crystals that I got from the ashram. You can make your own. I've made my own with one of the swamis in a retreat that I did here. We made our own malas. So you just walk your fingers along. And I do it for each of my, each reciting of my mantra. So my living mantra is 7 syllables. So it in the past has taken me a long time to get to learn to allow to get to that state of flow that we talked about in one of the previous recordings, one of our previous sittings. Yeah, and then once it's 108 beads. So once you get to the end, I flip it. You see, I just flip it. I don't go past it. I just flip it. And that's where I say my thank you. So when you get to the end, once again, you don't go past, you just flip it. And then you start again. So you're starting on the same side again. So there you go. And then today I'm going to have obviously the amethyst sitting beside me here. And then I thought I would introduce you to another really great, easily accessible crystal, and it's called the Golden Healer. This was a gift from a friend, really beautiful. And it's clear quartz with iron oxide inclusions. That's why it almost looks like a citrine. It's powerful, clear, and energizer. It opens your solar plexus, which is your third energy center of the sun, that brings power of clearing and rejuvenation into our being, opening up endless possibilities and helping us to overcome any perceived obstacles. That would be a good friend of Ganesha then. So I'm going to hold this as I did the other one. You can use a mudra. This is a great mudra if you are interested. I'm going to put the crystal in my hand, attach my ring finger and my middle finger, and my pinky finger is going to be free. I'm going to put this hand on my abdomen as I always do. It allows me to remember to breathe down into my lower abdomen. And that's where we want to breathe. That's our parasympathetic nervous system. That's going to help us to work with our brain waves as well as we engage the alpha brain waves. And that's the brain waves that allow us to tune in better into our sensory organs, our sight, our sound, our hearing, our tasting, our knowing, our tactile. So, and I've always liked to wear my blanket because I get cold. When you adjust the brain waves, just like when you're going to sleep or going into deep meditation, whether it's this sitting meditation or visualization or yoga nidra, the body has a tendency to reduce its temperature. And I'm here in the north, and I'm in my studio, which is at ground level, and it's early morning here. Well, not so early, but it's cooler because the heat hasn't been on in the studio overnight. All right. So we'll do 5 rounds with the mala, and then at the end we'll pull a card to allow us a jumping off point for journaling. So here we go, 5 malas. I'll let you know when we pass each round. So now engage your breath down into your lower abdomen, feeling the coolness of your breath in your nostrils. And if you'd like to use a mantra, Soham is a beautiful Sanskrit mantra that's ancient and such a great frequency to connect with. So inhale on So and exhale on Hum. The objective here is one smooth breath with no pause, no jerks and no noise, no sound. Inhaling So, exhaling Hum. Inhaling So, exhaling Hum. It's like a beautiful stream of oil, that smoothness. When you use your mantra, you can find a place to sit internally as well. You can sit behind your third eye, sort of step behind the veil, step back into the head and hold the mantra there. Or you can simply sit in your heart. You can actually visualize pulling up a chair and sitting in your heart and observing you doing your mantra, your meditation. You can observe or witness the thoughts that come and go. It's not engaging with the thoughts, just simply being curious of the thoughts that are traveling through space. And when you conclude your meditation, if you feel that it's necessary, you can look at those thoughts and why are they traveling through space like that? Through your space, your personal space. Curl your lips up a little. That's one. Thank you, Guru, thank you. One smooth breath. If you're finding that you can't get anchored, let's go back to your anchor point, go back to your breath in your lower abdomen. You can try simply on the exhale, opening the mouth with sound and having an exhale. Allowing your shoulders to drop 3 inches. That's 2. And this is the point you want to check in with your body, see if you're leaning forward or leaning back. You might subconsciously be getting restless. So bring your centering back in. Re-engage your breath to the lower abdomen. That's 3. Just letting the thoughts float past. See them as little clouds floating past. Little thought forms. That's 4. And if a thought form is really hounding you, coming back and coming back, and there's some resistance that is being built up. Write it down. Create success for yourself. And with gratitude, just come back to your meditation, your breath to your abdomen. And that's 5, our 5th round now. I like to incorporate Bliss Be Me. Put a little pep in my step because it's a quicker mantra. And I like to strengthen the field, strengthen the template for Bliss Be Me. You see colors when I do this one, and curl your lips up a little. Or you can stick with your so hum. I also invite you to sit in your heart. If you're not already in your heart, practice sitting in your heart as well as sitting behind the third eye. Or if you've been in the heart, come up to the third eye. That concludes our 5 rounds in our mala. And see what you notice in your body now. Rub your hands together. Do some palming. And cup your eyes with your palms. And feel the warmth of your hands, your body, the energy that you created by rubbing your hands together. Open your eyes into your hands. How was that today? How are the thoughts that come in? They're inevitable. Don't think that the thoughts are ever going to go away. They're inevitable. It's how we learn to engage with them or not. And when we do that in meditation, it's a great way to take that out into our everyday. We get to choose how we engage with a thought. And as we increase our awareness of our sensory organs, we may become more sensitive. So pay attention to that. And that's a good thing. That means you're not numbing out to living. You're actually having a sensory experience. You'll start to notice nature more, perhaps. You'll notice those things might trigger you more easily. And come back to your breath in your lower abdomen. Come back to your feet. Come back to where you're sitting. And reground, come into your heart, recenter into your heart. One of my favorite questions is, what would love do here? Love would know that I'm activated and I just need to walk away and take some time for myself, because what I say may not be my truth. And it may be something that, or, what am I going to say? Because what is my motivation in saying it? It's the motivation for anything that comes through my mind or out of my mouth. You're the boss. What boomerang do I want to come back to me? A boomerang of pain? Or do I want a boomerang of love? That's our our boomerang of happiness. Always remember that on the happiness you give, always remember that on the happiness you give will depend the happiness you get, the boomerang, whatever we put out. And that thing that's in front of us, that irritant, is something that we've sent out before, and it's simply being delivered back to us. So I try to make a habit of not taking it personally, but part of that is living in that expanded consciousness. And that's where the membership comes in, because it allows us to really work together and live consciously. Happiness, to do at each moment the best we can and leave the result to the divine's decision, is the surest way to peace, happiness, strength, progress, and final perfection. Now, these are really high conscious cards. These are from South India. They're the Mother and Sri Aurobindo. So the integral philosophy is pretty deep. So I'm going to switch up the cards that we do over the next 31 days so that you get the flavor of different cards that are available to you that you can experience, because I don't know that you'd be able to find these. Maybe at the Sri Aurobindo Ashram in Pondicherry, India, they may have them on their book order list. They look like this, but they're extremely high consciousness cards. So always remember that on the happiness you give will depend on the happiness you get. To do at each moment the best we can and leave the results to divine's decision is the surest way to peace, happiness, strength, progress, and final perfection. And it uses words like divine, and it uses words like perfection, but it's not meant in the sense of that we are striving for perfection. We're just striving to be the best you can be, I can be, in any given moment. And that's all we can ask for, is that we do no harm, and we try to alleviate our suffering and our afflictions, which come in through the thoughts that we have, but we're not our thoughts, because it's all pre-programmed. So with the highest degree of forgiveness for self and others, as we work through this beautiful thing called life here, what I call heaven on earth, and hence my company, Bliss Be Me, Bliss Be You. Being, we're human, and then we become human being. Being is the light, and me represents, for me, is me, you, and Mother Earth. It's the all. It's the one. Integrative holistic health. So to take that holistic approach, which is physical, emotional, mental, relational, and spiritual all together into account, it's one big vortex of what I call involution, actually what Sri Aurobindo calls involution. And involution is that self-sabotage that we do, that we live in, and creating that evolution. But both are the important part of us living. One is the contrast, the other one is what we do with that contrast. So thank you so much for being here. I hope that you can take the happiness into your journal and look at where that, or get a greater comfort level with understanding that that each moment is surely just a rebound, and that each person and situation is a messenger. Because I believe that if we can see it, that means we've been it in all areas that we experience. So pen to paper, digits to phone, whatever that works for you. Take 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Write about your inspiration and your aspiration and your devotion to yourself to create happiness. These cards are so beautiful. And you are too. I love you. I hope to see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Make it a great day.